Ladies and gentlemen, the American Jury and Bulldog Nation, welcome to Eric Deters Show. Producers back. Bells and whistles are back. Today is tax day. I filed my tax return a long time ago. Hope you got yours done. Yesterday in history, which is a pretty big deal in history, Abraham Lincoln was assassinated. One of the saddest days, if not the saddest day, the most tragic day in our history. All right, let's get right to it. Well, over the weekend, on Friday, Iran, in retaliation for Israel wiping out some of their folks, decided to start launching missiles at Israel. Apparently over 300. It looks like the Iron Dome system worked, and 99% of the missiles were shot down. That's amazing to me. Joe Biden apparently called Israel and said, hey, to use his words, take the win, don't retaliate. Both Iran and Israel are saying expect more offensive and defensive measures. The big issue, though, here with Iran is, and it's just awful, when you look at Barack Obama on his last day of his administration, flying cash, billions, to this guy. When you look at the unfreezing of those Iranian assets, when you look at the lifting of Iranian sanctions, and somebody sent me this meme. This is wild when I got this graphic. It showed the defense missile systems in Israel paid for our tax dollars, and then the Iranian missiles being shot also paid from our tax dollars. Indirectly. It's nuts. Who wins? The manufacturer of the missiles. The political gangsters. All right, today, the biggest news item besides that is a trial starts today in New York State Court with Alan Bragg as the prosecutor in New York City. And it's all over whether Trump was a criminal in the Stormy Daniels payments. He's using a federal law with the Fed said not a crime. And here we go. I feel like Trump's only chance of not being convicted is this. Hung jury. He gets one juror that holds out because the likelihood of them having, a bunch of jurors that want to hang Trump is good. Second issue is whether the biased judge will allow the appeal to go forward without Trump in jail. I would hope so. He is going to be the Republican nominee for president. And that would be amazing. However, if Trump were to go to jail, guess what? He's going to win the election anyway. It'd be kind of wild, wouldn't it, if Trump won the presidential election from prison? But I don't think that'll happen. Furthermore, just so you know, this is a case that's going to be won on law. Some cases you win on facts, some you win on law. This one's going to be won on law and facts. So anyway, I think we're going to make a reel out of that. Drug shortages are as bad as they've ever been, particularly cancer drugs. That's not good. The Supreme Court reversed a judgment against this poor guy where he had to deal with county taxes like $23,000 to build on his own property. And the U.S. Supreme Court said they have to be rational and reasonable and not punitive. I was with a buddy of mine yesterday. We were talking about development here in northern Kentucky and Cincinnati. The amount of regulations and costs to do anything is meant to where the only players in the game are the biggest players. That's sad. Trump was in Pennsylvania in Gettysburg, gave a speech, has been criticized a little bit for what he was saying at Gettysburg. I understood what he meant. Trump endorsed U.S. Senate candidate McCormick. This is the guy that Trump did not endorse when he endorsed Dr. Oz last time. But he's endorsed Mark McCormick. McCormick, let's hope, wins. Can't make this up. Our government tax dollars, $4.5 million spent defending Hunter Biden while the Secret Service hangs out at a Spanish villa near him out there in Malibu. I got to ask you a question. Who wants to kill Hunter? No one. It's sickening. Menendez, can't make this up. They found, apparently, not bank connected, $500,000 in cash in his home. You never know why he got that. We all know, but we'll see what excuse he comes up with. 1,300 people have been laid off in logistics business. What's that signaling? Slow down in the old trucking business. Here goes supply issues again. McCarthy just came out and finally said it. He said the reason why he's no longer speaker is that another member, Matt Gaetz, had sex with a 17-year-old. That's the ethics investigation of Gaetz. If it is true that Gaetz had sex with a 17-year-old, that's sick, messed up stuff. Gaetz needs to go. If that's true. I don't know why McCarthy would say it. Truth is a defense in defamation. So it must be true, because McCarthy's not stupid, right? L.A. homeless, after spending millions and millions and millions, the problem got worse. You know why? And I tell you this all the time. Tax dollars don't go to solve the problem. It goes to people who claim they're going to solve the problem, pocket the money, contractors, advisors, consultants, and it just goes poof. And those people then donate it back to the campaigns of the politicians. There is no honor in government anymore. There's no honor in politics anymore. It's disgusting. And yet, you, the voters, keep electing the same kind of people. I'm going to keep running until a majority of the voters wake up and say, you know what? Maybe we ought to let Deters have a chance. All right. Trump in Ukraine. He says we should make any contribution to Ukraine alone. I'm thinking to myself, no kidding. How come all of our contributions wasn't? Ukraine has wheat. Ukraine has other resources. Why in the hell wouldn't any of our aid be loaned? Don't make sense to me at all. Trump had a meeting with Mike Johnson down at Mar-a-Lago, endorsed him. By the way, Rand Paul has ripped Mike Johnson, but Trump's playing ball with Johnson and said Marjorie Greene Taylor understands. So there's a little, we'll see how that goes. Of course, I want to tell you right now, Marjorie Greene Taylor will never give up her seat at Mega. So she'll toe the line for Trump. She ain't going to turn on Trump because she knows what happens. OJ Estate says they're going to try to keep his $3+ million away from the Goldman family. We'll see how that rolls. And Fauci's been busted by using his private email to send information covering up all the crap relative to COVID. That guy belongs in jail. I agree with Rand Paul on that. This is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. Do not be a beastly, dull-eyed scut. Your Shakespearean insult of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, American Jerry and Bulldog Nation, welcome to Eric Deters Local News. Here we go. Desmond Jones was found guilty by a Kenton County jury in the murder of Edgar Lopez. See ya, Desmond. Tamara Moore has been arrested and charged with the murder of her 16-year-old son, who apparently is autistic. Sad. And the Perry County Commonwealth Attorney has been arrested and charged with methamphetamine distribution, some crazy stuff, gay sex, drug deal, and everything else. Look at his picture now. Perry County, by the way, Hazard is the big city in Perry County. In other Kentucky news, Wyona Judge will be singing the Star-Spangled Banner national anthem at the Kentucky Derby. Black bears apparently are doing very well in the state of Kentucky. You watch, they'll open up the hunting on them soon. Kentucky Ford Battery Plant, it's got mold in it. Folks, I want to tell you something. It can never be proven by science that mold causes any problems with you. There's a guy, a lawyer, Bob Traynor, nice guy, knew him, worked with me a little bit, went bankrupt, ended up, alcohol killed him. And you know why? Because he spent all his money on these mold cases, and he never could find a court that would allow a medical expert to say that health issue was caused by that mold. Sad. All right, Kentucky Republicans overrode almost every bill, except I think there's one. So bottom line is they have a supermajority. By the way, Bashir, just so you know, basically signed most of them too, because he knew they were going to get overridden anyway. So then Bashir can say, hey, I signed that law when it works. Bashir has played his position as governor with a supermajority very well. Thus, he got reelected. In Ohio news, 26 barges broke loose in Pittsburgh and headed south. Pittsburgh. They probably did it on purpose to wipe out our bridges. This is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. Have a great day.
Hello, you're watching Eric Deters World News. This is Jamie Spindley with the latest headlines. Australian authorities have identified Joe Catchy as the assailant behind the tragic incident at Sydney's shopping centre. catching a knife at the Westfield Bondi Junction complex, resulting in 6 deaths, including 5 women and 1 man, with several others injured, including an infant. Officials suggest the attack may be linked to Catch's mental health condition. Heavy rains in Afghanistan have unleashed devastating floods, claiming over 30 lives, with casualties even reported in Kabul. Many fatalities occurred during the collapse of a residential structure, worsening the impact of the floods. In other news, unprecedented flooding has submerged Russia's Orenburg, with water levels exceeding critical levels by 2 meters. Urgent evacuations were ordered as sirens blared across the city. The situation is expected to worsen, with neighboring regions also affected, including Kazakhstan, where 100,000 individuals have been forced to flee from their homes. And British fighter jets intercepted drones launched from Iran towards Israel, marking Iran's first direct assault on Israeli soil. The Prime Minister of England announced the interception, highlighting a joint response with the US and other nations. The Ministry of Defense clarified that the RAF jets were deployed over Iraq and Syria and not Israel. Until tomorrow, have a fantastic day. Cheerio. I'd also like to say, welcome back, Sabrina. You was missed last week, mate.
Ladies and gentlemen, American cheer and Bulldog Nation, welcome to Sports Without Boundaries. The Masters yesterday. Scheffler won. I always want to call him Stifler. Scheffler won. He won in 2022. He won again yesterday. Unbelievable play. Tiger Woods had his worst 70 rounds of golf ever, but he says he feels good about it. And bottom line is he made the cut and he got to play. Don't count Tiger out in the future. But Scheffler's the number 1 player in the world right now, and he's showing it. The Cincinnati Reds swept the White Sox. They had like 25 runs to like 4 or 5. I mean, they just smoked the Chicago White Sox. They had a shutout, good pitching, good hitting. Mark Pope was introduced as the University of Kentucky head coach yesterday, and the place went nuts. Rupp Arena was packed. Place went nuts. Lots of good feelings. Pope's going to be meeting with Shepherds. He's going to be talking to Z. Other recruits. It went well. And you know what it showed? It showed that the name on the front and the program maybe is more important and bigger than a coach. Let's hope. All right, WNBA draft is tonight. Caitlin Clark's expected to be drafted number 1 by Indiana. NBA playoffs have been set. Boston is the top seed in the East, and the top seed in the West is Oklahoma. The play-in games have been set. All right, spring football practice. The Ohio State Buckeyes had theirs on Sunday. On Saturday, it was Alabama. Everybody had a nice spring football. It looks pretty good. Max Holloway knocked out Justin Gaethje in the last seconds of his fight. And guess what, folks? I didn't watch the fight, but my son says of all the fights he's seen, it's the best fight he's ever seen. He said he hated it when somebody had to lose. But everybody's talking about this one. OJ, you know what? I kind of thought, even though he's a murderer, this may be kind of classy, because the Football Hall of Fame is about football and what he did on a football field. They lowered the flag half-mast upon his death. All right, T. Higgins says he expects to be playing with the Cincinnati Bengals this year. So there you go, Bengal fans. We got wide receiver core still. This is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. Have a great day. Ladies and gentlemen, American cheer and Bulldog Nation, welcome to Eric Deters Pop Culture. Let's rock and roll. Saturday Night Live. I did not watch it, although I kind of regret not watching because I did not realize that Ryan Gosling was going to be the host. And Ryan Gosling had some laughs. He had a great opening. He had some great laughs. McKinnon came back for a show, so I hope you all caught it. Willie Nelson, you ready for this? He bought a guitar like in 1959. He called it Trigger, and he's never used another guitar. He uses the same guitar since 1957, 59, whenever. That's crazy. Harry, he's saying that, according to sources, that Meghan would be a great queen. She doesn't have a snowball's chance in hell unless William and all of his kids all go down in flames at one time. I don't anticipate that happening. All right, Kelsey graduated from the University of Cincinnati, did their podcast. That's why they did their podcast at Nippert. And then he graduated this weekend and drank alcohol on stage when he got his diploma. Not a good look. But you know what? When you're Travis Kelsey, you win Super Bowls and you date Taylor Swift, you don't really give a damn. All right, Turner, Jerry Turner, Mr. Golden Age guy. You know, who is he going to choose? Well, him and Nist are getting divorced because she won't leave New Jersey to be with him. You know, all these shows are all, the reason why they do them is they know it's going to make them famous. And then they'll figure it out after that. But you are a fool to watch these shows. Sorry, didn't mean to insult any of you. This is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. Have a great day.